what has happened? We're in a time of amazing technological breakthrough. Why can't we figure out what to eat?
Hello, and welcome to the Connect podcast. This show is all about helping you connect to your soul's calling so you can take action on it. Because the sweetest success is a blend of discovering your purpose with the inner drive to bring it to life. I'm Sheila Botello, health coach, lifestyle entrepreneur, and mom of two, best known for my online wellness programs, mentoring, and self-love passion. Listen in for inspiring interviews, solo chats, and Q&A sessions that will move you past overwhelm towards what lights you up. Stop accepting good enough and go for your version of great in your health, business, and relationships. Let's get started.
Today, we're talking all about how to optimize your nutrition. And in this climate that we're currently in of many different diets, many different eating styles, and many different people talking about how certain foods should be eliminated or avoided, it can get very confusing and very noisy. How do we eat properly for ourselves? There was a time where food was food and you ate your meals and that was it and you lived your life. And there wasn't an obesity issue. There wasn't hormonal issues happening in women's health. There were not chronic illnesses to the extent that we have them today. So what's going on? What has happened? We're in a time of amazing technological breakthrough. Why can't we figure out what to eat? So today's question, it's why I'm having this conversation. It's from Jody. Today's cue of the day is, I'm trying to lose weight, but I've found that when I skip meals or just don't eat for a period of time, I actually gain weight. I don't get it. What is happening? Well, Jody, first, thank you so much for raising this important question. You're not alone in this experience. And I've had this happen to me in the past as well. Until I researched and experimented with various things that could impact weight, health, hormones, all that kind of stuff. And, I can't highlight enough also that the vast majority of diet research that has been done in the past up until recently, now things are starting to change, but research takes time to have an impact. Most of this research has been done on the male population. So if you're not aware, our hormonal structure as women is different from that of the male population. And what is amazing in terms of weight loss and diet hacking and biohacking for men or postmenopausal women who are not dealing with 4 times a month hormonal shifts, these things can wreak havoc on a woman's health in a large number of ways. So first, Jody, I always like to begin with some guiding questions for you to answer first before we just dive into an answer. Obviously, you've submitted this question in advance. I'm not sure if you're going to be watching this today, right now, but I will put together some questions right now and have you consider these things. It's also important, again, not only has what I mentioned earlier been true about just research being done in a certain population, not taking into account all the different variables and all the different types of people, and even cultures, ethnicities, etc. But it's so important for us to go within ourselves, to ask ourselves some questions so that we can be walking down the proper path. And that's where I come in as a cyclical self-care coach to help women, particularly, reconnect with themselves in taking charge of their own health, their wellness, and their weight management, their skin health, all of these things. And so the questions I'm going to ask for you they begin with asking you about, have you always had a normal menstrual cycle? And that means 28, 29 days, no challenges, no PMS. Believe it or not, that is what a normal menstrual cycle is. Does your weight tend to fluctuate throughout the year? Do you have many spikes, peaks and valleys through the year? How does stress affect you? When did you start dieting, or have you ever started dieting? I mean, obviously right now from your question, you've recently at least tried restricting calories. That is in a sense dieting. So when did you begin this? Is it recent, or has it been something you've been doing your whole life? And when was the last time that you were at what you believe to be a healthy weight? As I share a few bits of information here today, I want you to have these questions in the back of your mind, because often we just do what we see other people doing and we don't really question it. And we don't really question, how is this making me feel as I'm going through the process? So there are many more questions that I could ask you right now, but since this is a quick video, start with the ones I've just asked, and you can always go back and to the beginning of this and revisit those questions. So you see, as a woman, there are 7 variations of your hormonal health that you're going to go through in your lifetime, depending on whether or not you're going to have children, or whether or not you've experienced a pregnancy or the loss of a pregnancy. This has a major impact on your hormones as well. It also has to take into account whether or not you're on birth control, and also how old you are. If you're in your postmenopausal years, you're in like phase 7, what we would consider phase 7 in our hormonal health as a woman. So each time that your body shifts into a different state of hormone, it also shifts into a different state of what we call fat metabolism. And there's many other things that are happening, but I'm really breaking this down simply for you. So when your reproductive years begin, your hormones are acting to keep you in a healthy state that could potentially support a pregnancy. Like if you choose to have kids, there was a time where it was nobody really had the choice. Women in our patriarchal society, it was just like, no, you get with a guy, you get married, you have your kids, and it's going to happen. And in some cultures, in some faith-based cultures as well, birth control wasn't even an option for women. So the body was just designed to be able to procreate and to create life, much like nature around us is, the plants, the trees. Now, fortunately, we live in a society now that many of us have access to being able to choose how many children we want, when we want to start a family, all of those kinds of things. And if we want to start a family, I firmly believe that being a woman today, for a very large number of women anyway, there's still a lot of it there's probably, I don't really know what the statistics are, but there's a large number of people who don't have the choice. But there are a large number that do, as to, do I want to have kids? And I think having that choice and making that decision as a couple or as an individual is very important, because you're going to be better suited to parenting. And if you're actually into doing that, right? And if it's really part of what you want and the timing in your life, etc. So all of these different hormonal shifts involve different biochemical things that are happening in your body. And so when you're restricting calories, your body simply goes into fat storage mode, unless you ensure that you're doing it methodically so that your body can support life. That's really the reason why. You've got to have enough here in your body working so that you could nurse a child. And I know many people are returning to breastfeeding. I think it's beautiful. There are a number of people who don't, or believe that they can't do that. So they use different methods of feeding their children. And there's different ways everyone does it. But the body is set up to be able to do that just from the natural creative force that put us together on this earth. So when you think about that, our male counterparts don't have to consider this. They don't have the same hormonal structure because they don't bear children. And therefore, many of the biohacking techniques for them to lose weight are not going to work on us as well. That's not to say they're not going to help people lose weight, because you've probably seen people lose weight. But the question is, at what cost? You may not know right now, these individuals who have lost weight, we don't know the other pictures of their health. So it could be a cost in terms of unbalanced hormones, irregular or missed periods, skin issues, and a slew of other things that we don't necessarily experience right now, but maybe 5, 10 years down the line. Very important to know that every single thing we're doing right now has an impact, not just on right now, but on down the line. So this, in my belief, is why over 40% of women in North America have health issues. There's something to be said for our hormones just not being in balance, and we're being affected by toxins in the air, stress, all of these kinds of things that then impact what our body's doing. Not to mention, of course, the mindset and belief of how we should be looking. We are comparing ourselves to social media photos and magazine covers for years. I'm part of that as well. As a child, I would look at all of the magazines as to, okay, this is what I should be looking like, and this is how thin I should be, and this is the kind of clothes I should wear, and this is the number of eyeshadow colors I should have on back in the 80s. We really are looking for a model of, what should I look like, and fitting into a mold. And when we do that, we realized that there could be a cost actually, and you don't realize you're kind of letting go of your own personal power when you do that. So when you're instead looking at feeding yourself in your mind, your spirit, and your body with what is important nutrients, important healthy thoughts, important relationships, your body is going to give back to you many, many times over. And so you have to take care of yourself so that your body will take care of you later. So the bottom line is you need to make sure that for your body type or where you're at in your hormonal life, what is the best way to eat and to fill in the nutritional gaps with a high quality food and supplement plan. Now, many people take supplements and eat some healthy foods, but the balance and ratio, finding the right one for you, that's the sweet spot to getting the results you want of great health and of a regulated body weight. So thank you, Jody, so much for this great question. It's one that I hear over and over, and it's important. We'll probably circle back to this many, many times. And having these conversations creates a simple shift in your eating and approach to your diet that could change the game for you in a really, really big way. And I know that it has for me over the years. And as I said earlier, there's so much to this conversation that I could address. Right now, it would take a long time. And I also share many, many resources, helpful free resources each week that can get you on the road to regulating your weight while increasing your quality of nutrition and really the joy in your life that you're supposed to be having, just so you can live instead of being fixated constantly on the number on the scale or getting down to a different pant size. So make sure that you subscribe to get this free information at the link below as well. So together, let's make sure that you get the support you need to live your best soul-driven life.
What stood out to you as you listened today? If you found it helpful, please share this episode and tag me at Sheila A. Botello on Instagram. It may be just the message someone needs to hear today. As always, these Q&A sessions are for educational purposes only and are not intended to diagnose, treat, or cure any health issues you may have, and I highly recommend that you consult with your doctor before beginning any new health protocol. I'll see you next time. Big blessings. Thank you so much for being here with me on the Connect podcast. If you like this episode, please share it with someone you think would enjoy it. Also, if you head over to iTunes to leave a review, I'd be so grateful. Let us know what your favorite parts were and what you'd like to hear more of. It will help us have a greater impact, elevating many more people to grow and succeed together. See you next time.